Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Elson Haas. Some of you are new to me from my George Norrie show I did a few weeks ago. Some of you are familiar faces, some are friends, family. So welcome, everybody. And I'm going to review peace medicine. I really have become more and more passionate about that. My story goes back almost 50 years, getting out of medical school and into practice, and really starting to read about healing. After I became a doctor, I said, I don't know anything about healing. So I was reading about barefoot doctors, and I was reading Manly Hall's work and understanding the idea of a philosopher physician, and really adding the metaphysical side to the barefoot doctors. How do we keep people healthy? How do we tune in? I have a number of slides. It's very rich in content. I want to thank the twins, Jean and Janet, for helping kind of me put that together, and lots of quotes. I'm going to read a few things, and then some things you'll have for later. We will send this show out to all of you and those who have signed up but may not come live, and they can watch it later. So I am going to share my screen here. Okay. So is that working? So peace medicine, look at this beautiful picture. Thank you, Neil, for putting that together. It's just, this is where I want to be. The sense of peace. We're going to talk about peace medicine. I'm going to talk about the next few months of the program, the community that we're creating, and it feels excellent. So the philosopher physician idea is just to understand healing and illness, and that's really what we're exploring today, is how to have a profound and practical solution. But I want to just read these bottom three pieces here, because I wrote this a while back, and I realize it has an essence about really what healthcare could be about, or what we are going to explore here. Many years ago, I realized that the universe had messages and energy coming to me, and nature spoke to me, and I listened. I started connecting with the days and years and seasons and cycles. If my body wasn't right, it would give me messages about what wasn't in harmony, and about how to connect my life and find a new balance. And that's really, in part, what peace medicine is about. So peace is an inside job. It's tuning into our body, tuning into the messages, and it's a healing, an internal process of how do we understand, instead of fighting with our concepts and content, are we embracing what's out of balance? Are we listening to that? And we're going to talk about resistance to change in a moment more, with a quote from Eckhart Tolle. And the disharmony, when we're not well, illness can happen at every level, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. So we have to pay attention to all those areas. But really, when we get to the spiritual evolution, is really what we're looking at. And to me, that's really the important part. By tuning into the messages and getting beyond the struggle, that's when we grow. So I happen to live in Sebastopol, California, which is Peacetown. You see my Peacetown shirt. I was there every Wednesday. There's music in the Barlow. But part of the motto is, and there's a whole Peacetown song too, world peace is a result of cumulative achievements of individual peace. So peace can be, ideally, our natural state of being. But a lot of people say, well, what can I do? Well, we start with ourselves. I just heard on Bill Maher the other night is that sometime in November, we're going to reach 8 billion people on our planet. So hopefully we're all going to be working on peace together. Although some people call me an idealist. And here's my favorite idealist, John Lennon. Healing ourselves and the planet as a result of inner peace. Peace is not something you wish for, it's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. And then from Thich Nhat Hanh, peace in oneself, peace in the world. That's a quote there. So this is part of the discussion of peace medicine that's on the Thinkific platform, which is where my course will be. First, do no harm, and then connect heart and hands, and then we got to spread the word about peace. So you've heard peace, do no harm. That's the basic tenet of medicine. It's from the Hippocratic Oath that all medical graduates swear to. First, do no harm. Western medicine hasn't really practiced that, totally. But it begins with making these challenges and illnesses our allies. So part of peace medicine is about not struggling with things, but listening to the body as the messengers we're getting. How do we apply this principle in our own life? We do it, we connect our hearts, our hands. Who's in charge of our hands? It has to do with what we're choosing to eat, what we're choosing to do with our bodies. But to me, connecting all our different parts is a part of the peace medicine journey. So it's also connecting with self and others. We're looking at building our community here. And I'll share with that in a little bit about that. In these times of conflict, how do we use peace medicine to enhance our relationships? Starts with ourselves, of course, and then our family and friends, our coworkers and all. So we support one another. So just in quick review here, peace medicine is getting beyond the personal struggle, listening to our deeper selves, tuning into the messages of any illness or challenge. So some of us are healthy. We don't necessarily have to have these struggles, but we still need that daily listening, that daily attunement, using our challenges to be positive change. So to me, we're all here on earth to learn, to grow, and evolve. And if you're not here for that, then this may not be what you're looking for. Maybe there's another planet you can go to where that's not the purpose, but I've been understanding since I was a kid that we need to grow and learn, and that's part of our evolution. And that part of that evolution happens when we stay in touch with our body. We have some kind of meditation and daily practice, and that's a place to start. So I finished Staying Healthy with the Seasons with the idea that change is the only constant in the universe, that change and evolution are the essence of healing. We have to trust this guidance that we have. We are centered in our core, and we want to use our creative imagination. So much happens up here. We need to really look at our brain and what thoughts we have, and can we steer our visualization? And that's what one of the things we'll be addressing in the Peace Medicine course as well. So this came in on the morning. I was writing about the idea of change and resistance. So from Eckhart, he says, it may look as if the situation is creating the suffering, but ultimately this is not so. Your resistance is. So it's all about having perspective and what we do with our minds. And it's also about knowing ourselves, or knowing ourselves, which is being present in the time, because we have all these different experiences where we can choose either to be at peace with something or to be struggling in our mind, going over and over things. Many of us use our worry, use our daily activities to undermine our health and create stress in our body. So we want to establish this deep inner knowing and understand ourselves really completely, and the right relationships, meaning and purpose, connect with our core self. And here's where we establish our choices. It's a lot about choices too. So George Leonard is one of the creators of the Kata. That's an exercise program. He did that with Michael Murphy, the founder of Esalen. So here's what George said about life practice. To be centered is to say yes to life. The center joins past and future, heaven and earth, the near and the far, the way out and the way in. It is a secure place from which to venture forth and to which you can always return. Now, daily practice is one of the things. Stop sharing now. Okay. Hi there. Daily practice is one of the aspects of creating peace, number one, connecting, keeping ourselves centered in the midst of the chaos. Here I'm talking about peace medicine, but as I said, there's war going on, there's struggles going on, there's murders, there's fires, there's all these challenges that we experience, many of us do, and it's time that we kind of awaken to that. So I want to take a few minutes now all together, and we're going to do a little centering. I'll show you a couple slides in a second, but to me, we're the centering that we do daily. So I do, you'll hear a little bit from Robert, my teacher for Qigong. So I do that every day. We will hear at some point from Barry and Pam Kramer, my friend Barry Robbins, and talk about the kata and talk about that whole practice. So I would encourage all of us, whether it's yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or regular, hikes, that we connect, we do something to center ourselves. So let's take a moment. I want us to share a couple other things here with you. Okay. All right, so this is part of the teaching from my Staying Healthy with the Seasons program that I did the last year, but the earth element is our center. So this is the concept that we shift with the seasons. The Doyo period is basically 20 days at each equinox and solstice. And so September 10th was when the Peace Medicine course starts, is a time of Doyo. It's a time of connecting. But those are stress points. The shift between summer and autumn, between winter and spring, these are stress points, and that's when we need to tune in and listen to our bodies. So here's a little meditation I want to do with you all, which is kind of a guided visualization. So I look at our right and left brain, the outer world and our inner world, and heaven and earth. Now those three axes, we'll call them, are crossed. You see the circle down on the right there, which is the three makes a sphere. There's three crosses. And I want to sit with you now for a few minutes and breathe. And we're going to connect the inner and outer, the right and left, in the mind and body. And you could think of that center in your third eye, or you can think of it in your heart, whatever feels comfortable. And you could do both. You can go back and forth. So I'm going to leave this image up there so you can kind of meditate on that a little bit if you want. But let's take a few minutes and put your feet on the ground, sit up straight in your chair, let your jaw relax, let your mind relax. And we're going to just visualize in our mind's eye all these different places centering around us. We get past the duality, we get past the conflict. And just picture that cross in the middle there with the three lines intersect. And let's just take a few minutes and breathe now. And nice deep breath. Breathe down into your belly. Let your jaw relax. Let your mind relax. And visualize your third eye and or your heart center. And just feel that balance, the connection with the two sides or the any conflicts. Just kind of sit there with them and let everything relax at your core. Okay, nice deep breath again, and then just come back to your presence. Come back to your center now. Just see if the world feels a little different for you now. Oh no, here. I picked up something else. This is the Peace Medicine website, peacemedicine.life. So check that out at some point. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, remember this. You'll have this again to share. So joy and ease are our default, our place to come to. Experience the warmth of our hearts and a connection. But part of every month in Peace Medicine course, we're going to explore 9 areas. For those of you who have done classes with me before, we've talked about this before, but how to be in harmony with these areas. So this is on the website. This is, you know, it's in the brochure that we're going to send you also about Peace Medicine. So monthly, we're going to be looking at our creative activity. We're going to work within the lunar cycle and new moon and full moon. What do we want to create? So this is numerology, my connection, that the different points. 1 is our identity to spirit. 2 is our personal relationships. 3 is creativity. 4 is our home base. 5 is about travel and teaching, what we're learning about. 6 is our career, our business activities. 7 is our health. 8 is our finances. And 9 are things that we need to kind of come to completion with or keep working on. So we want to really keep working on all these different areas. Part of my whole focus at this time in my life is to continue this evolutionary process. That's why we're calling Peace Medicine an evolutionary healing journey that we're in together. And I really am looking forward to doing this course with you all and having our community. And I'll share a little bit more about that. And so this is Neil worked on this, and this is a way for us to evaluate our different areas here. So you might look at what your weak areas are, what your strong areas are, and then every cycle, every month, we're going to be working on how do we improve those. Are there things that we can do to improve our finances? The things that we can do at home? Do we have a trip coming up? Are there things in our business? Are there creative projects? What are your strengths and weaknesses right now? You can just look at that and see. So to me, that's important. All right, another exciting part is to say yes to new adventures. So this is part of it. This is not me alone teaching. I have all these kind of friends and collaborators who I have loved and worked with over the years. We have Anna Dea Judith talking about chakras, and I have a video, if I can get it to play in a moment. Robert Bergman, who works with me, has been my teacher for the 8 Elemental Taoist Longevities. My friends Barry Robbins and Pam Kramer, who's been teaching kata for years. Bethany, my longtime associate, who's, we deem her a psychologist. She studies cycles and patterns, including how our bodies shift. Kooch Daniels, who's our new optimistic, and she's just very wise and learned. And Marty Rossman, my original brother from Ann Arbor Med School, and we have an interview about how to use our imagination constructively. Let me see if I can get this to play. It may not do all the things I want it to do.
Passionate about.
Shoot, come on. Come on, Anna Dea, say it. No. I'm going to try and do it afterwards from a keynote program. All right, but anyway, she said Anna Dea is talking about evolution and the importance of evolution. This is from her teaching with Shift Network, and she's an incredible teacher and friend of mine. And she's written a lot of books on chakras and yoga. And we did an interview that is part of this course that's talking about chakra relationships. And then these are my friends Barry Robbins and Pam Kramer, and there's the website for Integral Transformative Practice, which is the kata, and that'll be part of what we'll be sharing in terms of these next few months of classes, and that'll be good. And then I have Robert. Let's see, we might be able to hear this.
Letting go of the mind always being in control of fixing stuff. That's an exhausting job.
So what about the importance of having a daily practice?
Key. So you get your sleep, you wake up, what's the first thing you do? It sets your intention, it sets your energy, right? It's about regulation. It's that fundamental blueprint of self-care that we were talking about, right? So that in that way, you can be self-resourced. We do need people, but at a certain point, we're by ourselves, right? Self-regulated. Again, our energy. Can we be grounded and balanced? It doesn't mean that we don't run the juice sometimes, but at a certain point, we have to be able to regulate. And self-soothing. Can we actually be medicine to ourselves, in quietness? And it's also based on good relationships as well, right? The people we have around us. But daily practice is the key. It's the thing that gives us the ability to do everything else. If your battery is depleted, if your emotions are destabilized, if your mind's spinning, very hard to navigate the world in a balanced, grounded, reasonable place, right?
So when you say centered in yourself, then the chaos of the world doesn't affect you quite as much. You can.
The more grounded you are, the more you have the ability to have agency over how you respond to what's going on around you. Because the world's going to do what it's going to do. Right? Why is it on some days that like you're feeling good, you're resourced, you're feeling joyful, something comes up and it's like, that would normally destabilize you and you're like, small stuff. And other days, it really gets to you. If you're not resourced, if you don't have a regular daily practice, it's just really easily to be destabilized. So it really is an inside job and it doesn't happen overnight. The other really good thing is it builds up your self-confidence. It's just a healthy way to build up your self-confidence. Right? Every day you're like, wow, I'm being good to myself. I'm being disciplined. Whether it's 15 minutes or 3 hours, regularity and consistency is the silent strength. It will heal you and improve you even against your own will. You don't have to.
Thank you, Robert. Let's see, I'm going to stop share for a minute and come back to that. Yeah, so Robert, I'm sorry. Sorry for the video. This is the techie part of this is not always easy. But when we send out the recording, we're going to see if we can get that fixed up so you can hear Anadea and see Robert speaking. Anyway, but the importance of, to me, a lot of wise teachers talk about the importance of daily practice. And to me, that's what, I feel. I don't feel right if I don't do my stretches or go to the, go to the gym. I have a rhythm. Those of you who know me, I have a rhythm in my life that kind of keeps me going. And to me, it keeps me grounded. It keeps me centered. There's certainly a lot of worry in the world. These last couple of years have been very stressful. We don't really know what's happening exactly. People don't know what's really true. I have so many questions every day from, oh, let's see, I just had COVID. I had COVID 2 weeks ago, and then I decided to get a booster the other day. That didn't seem like, I didn't feel so good. What's the right answer? I wish I knew. I mean, I've been studying a couple hundred hours now over these last couple of years on everybody's ideas, the renegades, the party liners, what's really right for us. And I don't know what's true still. I don't know really what's going on. I do know I've been really busy taking care of a lot of people, and a lot of my patients have had COVID. Now, they didn't for the first year or so, but now everybody seems to be getting milder versions of that, and they are concerned. A lot of them are upset because I had my shots, I had my boost. How come I'm sick? We wanted to hope that whatever was being purported to protect us would actually do that. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we could have a whole class just talking about that. So I'm going to come back to a few more slides now and talk about all right. Now I come to my ally, my longtime friend, Bethany Argisle. She's one of our other teachers, and she guides me all the time about tuning into the cycle. What's the number for the day? What's the energy for the day? What's the daily word? Today's daily word is healing. Let's talk about that. In Chinese medicine, the idea that what throws us off balance is the external climates, too windy, too wet, too cold, too dry, too hot, or the internal climates. So she made the talk about this in terms of body weather. When our emotions are destabilized, as Robert talks about, when we have anger or frustration or worry, that throws off the body. That's the whole basis of traditional Chinese medicine, is that our body is affected by both the activities, the outer and inner world activities, and our attitudes and ideas. There we go. Now here's Kooch Daniels, a new friend and twins, the twins' good friend, and she's written a lot of books, and she certainly looks like an optimistic or optimistic is the term that we're applying to her now. And she's written a bunch of books and does tarot readings and numerology and astrology. So she's tying in some of these areas that we'll talk about in upcoming months. But yeah, she's definitely a high priestess. And here's my friend Marty Rossman. This is an image of him. Healingmind.org is his website. He's taught. He's been doing acupuncture since the early 70s, and he's kind of my big brother out here. We started working in kind of new healing world together using guided imagery, and our little practice in Bolinas together with Irving Oil. So it's about really learning to connect our mind and to use our creative imagination to heal us, to guide us, to support us. One of his books, The Worry Solution, is really suggests the wasted energy that a lot of us put into worry. Most of those things never really happen. And here's my twin friends, Jean Haas and Janet Losick, and they are identical twins, and they've been a great ally for me. I can talk about them as one person, but they're really two. But and so they help get this slideshow together, a lot of the information and quotes. I really appreciate working with them. And they have their own community outreach called Conscious Lifestyles. And most of you who know my work know that lifestyle, to me, healthy lifestyles is really the key. Good food, good, exercise, sleep, managing stress, healthy attitude. So when we do that, we can build. Now, their Conscious Lifestyles is their part of our practice community. They really want to take the ball and kind of guide us and support us in this our community of peace medicine experiencers. How can we evolve? How can we change our life and improve? So to me, this is a really valuable part of peace medicine course, that we have a team and we have a community that we can engage with and support, besides the regular classes and all the content. So I'll share her for a minute and just come back to that. So that's kind of the basic ideas about peace medicine and all that. Now I really want to go a little bit more in depth about what peace medicine course is about, September, October, November, and how do we align with each other? How do we support each other? And I look forward to that. So September, oh, I got a little drink here. I think I haven't messed up too bad yet. Okay. So each month, September, October, and November, we're going to explore the moon cycle and the numerology and work on that creative ideas that we just talked about. That's the secondary part of each month. The first part is really addressing our internal strengths, are using peace to guide us, getting rid of our stresses. How do we get beyond our struggles? How do we have more compassion and self-agency for ourselves? So to me, that's a good part of it. And then part of September is also Marty Rossman's discussion with me, his work and guiding us in some imagery work that he and I will do. And then also we're going to engage and see the kata. We're going to have Barry and Pam guide us, but we're basically going to go to the website and see the practice. Even I think there's a practice with George Leonard actually doing it originally, and it's very good centering. It's a combination of qigong, yoga, and it starts with grace, where we just stand and grace is I think if I recall right, it stands for grounding, relaxation, awareness, centering, and energization. And so you just center in that. It's kind of like centering, but it is the grace. So to me, that's what we'll do during the month of September in peace medicine. October is a little bit more focused on understanding the body energies and how they move and how they get blocked. And are we out of balance elementally? Are we out of balance in different seasons? Can we understand the meridians and the chakras? So how do we stay connected to the natural cycles and the world? And how do we balance our internal energies and emotions? And this one we'll talk about chakras. We'll talk about the awareness and how do we connect with each other. And we'll continue our creative activities. We'll continue our centering practices. And this is all part of what is incorporated into, what I'm seeing as, I call it a master, kind of a master class for each of you to really embrace your full self, for you to connect with your inner and outer worlds, for you to keep yourself balanced, for you to keep yourself in practice. And basically the whole idea, my motto since I started practice 50 years ago, is to stay healthy. How can we maintain ourselves? And we have to get out of the way in part for that. So our practice will keep us centered. So this, because we'll again work on our lunar cycle and our creative connections. We have Anna Dea. I've already done an interview with her. We'll probably do more and have her be part of a class. She and I talked about chakra relationships. How well do we connect? How good a relationship can we have with other people in our life? So to me, that's crucial. When you get involved with somebody, how many of your chakras line up? You have a good mental connection? Do you have a sensual, sexual connection? Do you have a work-related connection? Do you have a heart connection? Excuse me. So, and then we have Robert. We're going to demonstrate, and then we'll do it as part of a recorded class and go through the 8 elementals and the Taoist longevity exercises. To me, that's something I plan on doing for the remaining years of my life. All right, so here's November. This is I already know it's going to be my favorite one, and hopefully it will be for you as well. We want to look at what our basic potentials are, our personality. So to me, that incorporates a variety of things. It's not just one thing. It's not just I'm a Leo with a moon in Cancer, so that makes it gives me certain qualities and certain energies. But our rising sign is important as well. Our birth numbers. Excuse me. My birth date is the 34/7. So the 7 has to do with health and spirituality. 3 is a very creative activity. 4 I like to do from home. I like the basics as well. But each of us are different. Some people are a 16/7. Some people are a 23/5. So you do that by adding up your day, the day, like my birthday is 08/14/1947. So you add up all those numbers, that adds up to a 34. So that tells me that. So if your birthday is 1/1/2000, that's a 4. So you can figure that out, and we'll do all this. All of us will get kind of taken apart and kind of put back together, so to speak. And then what's your card? This is what Bethany's really studied a lot. And each day of the year has a certain card. My card, August 14th, is the Queen of Clubs. That's this center receiving divine knowledge, basically listening. It's a receptive quality, being the Queen. Or King is more outreach. The Jack is a little bit more youthful, sharing of life, So your card is based on that. It's interesting. The cycles are 7 planets. By 7 planets, that's 49 cards. Excuse me. So there's 752 cycles. Right after your birthday, is the Mercury cycle, then the Venus cycle. So 7 times 52 is 364, basically 1 year. So we have these changes, and then at every spot, every one of your cards has a different card associated with it. Like if your Venus card in this year is the 4 of Hearts, that may mean marriage. There's all these different symbolisms. Are you a club or heart, a diamond or spade? That's like your elements. Are you earth, fire, air, or water? Those have aspects to it. So all these aspects are potential. My throat's getting a little dry talking so much. So in November, I'm gonna interview Bethany. We're gonna lay down some ideas about how to pay attention to our cycles and the 9 areas of our life. We'll have Kooch Daniels, who kind of will give us a reading on certain things, and also I'll just interview her about the importance of numbers and energies and tarot symbolism. So, and this is basically how we'll look at your own individual map. How do you apply? So when you look at your astrology, your numerology, your card, that all connects to what you're doing, and it'll relate to your creative aspect. You may tune in that working on strengthening your home or your personal relationship and evolving that is like really important for you. So all right, so here's basically what I'm sharing with you now is Peace Medicine is a 3-month experiential community with lots of classes, at least 2 full classes a month, a lot of other content, a lot of other enriched material. So there's a cost for this, for the 3-month program. I'm giving you all, I'm going to send a copy when you sign up for the course, a copy of a 25-page article on peace medicine about how to get beyond politics, medicine, and war. How do we find that balance? So any of you who have signed up for this class, can use the code PEACE50 for our class, and that'll give you a $50 discount off there. And I appreciate your acknowledgement that it costs money. Everybody needs to make a living these days, so we're looking at getting support. But the first class starts September 10th. That's 5 weeks from now, and so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing your faces and doing that. You can look at peacemedicine.life. So our goal is to learn together, to be inspired, and have lots of fun. One of the joys I have of working with the twins, Jean and Janet, is we laugh a lot. We try and have fun. We get excited about inspirations, about things to evolve, and they're really committed to a conscious community and helping us each grow. If you have specific questions, you can send it to drelsonhaas@gmail.com. And basically these next 3 months is the beginning part. When we send out this recording, we're going to send a 4-page brochure about what peace medicine is about. So stop sharing there. People in. All right, I think I'm going to take a little break and see if any of you have a question or so. I think what I'm going to do, let me kind of close this and say thank you all for coming. I think I'm not going to record the questions, so I'm going to stop the recording, and then we'll go from there. Happy day.